right, welcome to the show. The first ever power ranking panel, a very serious panel. As the guys from Barstool Baseball joined together here Monday morning to put together the official 1 through 9. I'm joined by Chris Klemmer, Chris Castellani, and Eric Hubbs. Guys, thanks for joining us.
What up?
It's a big responsibility. The power rankings came out last week. 4 days into the season. I don't know if the internet knew we were just trolling them. This is way too early for power rankings, but we're going to have power rankings every Monday.
You had to see the reaction that me and Marty and in that area, we just jumped on Meek Phil. We almost just beat him to a pulp because I was so mad at the power rankings, leaving the Yankees off, all that. We want to be taken seriously, so that's why we got this panel.
Castellani, opening thoughts knowing the Tigers will never sniff this the entire season.
They'll be. That's not mean. That's correct. I'm used to it, so it doesn't hurt me anymore. I mean, that honestly is a good point. Is when was the last time you could say the Tigers were a top 9 team? 16 maybe. I don't know. It's been a long time, but I've made peace with it, especially after this weekend.
And Klemmer, you're feeling okay about the Mets? This will be interesting to see where they rank here.
I'm in a bad mood. I just got back from the Mets losing 7-2 in a boring, cold, miserable game. Marlins slapped us around a little bit, didn't get the sweep, so I'm grumpy.
Well, we'll get through. We're going to have a great discussion here. And just to kind of introduce us, we put together a format where we can agree on teams 1 through 9. It's kind of a group consensus thing. We'll have some approval, disapproval. The easiest way to explain it is just to do it. So we came up with a batting order between the 4 of us. For the first edition, we're doing age before beauty. It's going to go Klemmer, me, Hubbs, Castellani, and then it's going to go right back to the top to Klemmer. Klemmer will have the opportunity in the first spot to nominate the first team he thinks that he belongs in the 1 through 9, however confident he is. Then the 3 of us will have an opportunity to discuss where they fit and if it's a good pick, and then we'll move on to the next team. Like I said, as we get into this should make some sense. So without further ado, I'm excited to try this format out. Klemmer, take us away. You're leading off, bud.
Yeah, this is easy. The number 1 team, maybe ever to start a season, is the Tampa Bay Rays of 2023. They're 9-0. They're beating opponents by 4 more runs. I know they have a soft schedule, whatever you want to say. This is uncharted territory. This is very exciting. The 2003 Royals, they started off 9-0, but they were a fraud team. They didn't beat teams like the Rays or just annihilating. I know, once again, they're playing teams like the A's. I get that. But they are really just destroying teams. This is... I don't know. We'll see what happens. Is this the 84 Tigers who started off 35-5, went to the World Series? Is this the 90 Reds who started off gangbusters, went to the World Series, won it? I don't know, but I'll tell you, this team is legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no arguments here, Rays slam dunk. They're smashing people.
You have a 57 run differential through 9 games. I don't care if you're playing high schoolers. That's impressive. Yeah. I'm not making comparisons to historical teams and what they're going to become when you've played the schedule they have. I don't want to pull the schedule card, but I'm not comparing them to an all-time great team when you play the Tigers, Nationals, and A's, who are teams that are just learning how to play the game of baseball, if they're even learning in general. But the Rays, it's truly incredible. You catch them in the 5th inning, they're up 9-0. If you haven't been taking them on the run line the last few days, which I finally got the hint to do, it's so much fun. It's just an automatic win. It's a lot of fun. I look forward to May. I looked at their schedule. May is when they're going to get humbled a little bit here, and we'll see what they actually are. But for now, you win the way you are. I have to tip my cap and just respect you.
Yeah, absolutely. Their pitching's been fantastic. Through 2 starts, Jeffrey Springs looks like he's going to fight for a Cy Young right now. That's it. Am I surprised they're 9-0? Maybe a little bit, but I'm not shocked because this is just kind of what they do. Every time we kind of have our back turned on the Rays, they're in the wild card race, they're in the division race. I expect they'll be more of the same this year. They have that factory of guys that they just churn out who throw 100 out of the pen. They have their system and it works.
All right, so we got Rays in the first spot. I like that, Klemmer. I'm up next. I'm going to skip spots 2 and 3. I'm going to go to the 4th spot in the power rankings, and I'm going to say the Milwaukee Brewers because they've been very impressive, but not enough where I think I'm not going to throw them into the first tier yet because there's some really, big historical franchises that have had a lot of success recently. But it's just like you see what happens when the Brewers are hot. They pitch well. Their farm system's so deep. This is probably higher than they will be at the end of the season, obviously. But right now they're playing hot. They're playing hot, and it's like they gave up 6 runs with Corbin Burns on the mound and still found a way to beat the Mets. So it's not just one of these like 2-0, 3-1 type of teams. Like there is some firepower. The difference is you just haven't heard of the names. I don't want to throw them 2-3. I think they're better than some of the teams that'll be in the 6, 7, 8 range so far. So I want to give Milwaukee Brewers some credit in the 4 spot. Any big disagreements there?
I had them higher. I had them. I mean, admit it. I don't want to reveal I had them higher. I think it's really impressive what they've done without Corbin Burns being Corbin Burns. Like Peralta is shoving. They're getting Garrett Mitchell, Brian Anderson production here. Like Yelich isn't setting the world on fire. I think he had a home run today, but they've just been impressive with the guys that are producing and the guys that aren't. I like that mix, and I like the really good guys are going to eventually, catch on. They'll be even better.
Yeah, no, I'm with you as well. I think that it's a real positive development for them so far. That what's been their Achilles heel the last few seasons has been like the inconsistency of the offense. The fact that they're getting what they're getting out of Garrett Mitchell and like Brian Anderson, who's been like the hottest hitter in the game, to start the season. That's a real positive development because if that offense could just be stable, their pitching's going to win them a lot of games.
Yeah, I mean they're 7-2. Corbin Burns looks like shit, and they're still 7-2. They beat the shit out of the Mets, 10-0, 9-0. Then they had that walk-off win. The Brewers they're a force right now. Like Hub said, I had them higher too. I mean, 4 is fine. I'm not going to argue with that. But I mean, I would say 4 is the bottom. Like for them, they are playing that good right now.
Yeah, I had them at 4 as well.
If Haley Cruz just doesn't go to games anymore, and Mitchell just keeps going off for them, like that's unfair. like that, I don't know how you beat them because he's just going to be the best player in baseball maybe without her.
Hey, that's a great call out. Hubs is talking about the Brewers rookie who hit the walk-off home run and then said he plays well when his wife isn't there, and then his wife's on Twitter. That's just a great clapback. Milwaukee Brewers at 4, kind of questionable. Maybe they could be 3. Castellani, you're up next, man.
Was I up next or Klemmer up next?
Well, I think Hubs is up next, actually.
I think I'm up next.
Yep. Oh, boy. Hey, just a little lineup check for the boys. Make sure we're all sharp on the format here.
We're not batting out of order. We can't afford it. I'm going to say I didn't know we could just jump around. Like Carl going just with the 4 spot here threw me off a little bit. I thought you were just going 2. I'm going with the Yankees at number 3. So people want to call me biased. 2 is open right now, and I went with 3. But the Yankees have a ton of injuries here. No center fielder. They're missing 3 pieces of starting rotation. If you want to count 3, Montas maybe he's just not even in the fold this year. So they're missing Sevy and Rodon, and they're 6-3. They have 3 series wins in 3 series. You can't really ask for more than that. What they got, Stanton looks really, really good. Judge is on pace for 72 homers. So I picked him as a regression candidate in like a funny way that like he can't do this again, and then here he is doing this again, and he might be even better. Volpe hasn't really done much yet, and that's like that because he's gonna come on. The bullpen for what they have right now has been very good for the most part, unless they're using guys in spots they're not going to be used for the whole year, and they're still 6-3. I like them at number 3 right now. I had the Brewers at 2 ahead of them. But I think the Yankees are in a good spot through 9 games.
Yeah, I think that it's great for them. And Matt Blake really does a tremendous job there because I think that they came into the season and he said, look, if that rotation holds, this could be a 100-win team. Well, the rotation before opening day didn't hold, and you've had multiple injuries to multiple pitchers, and you kind of just keep rolling. Yeah, I know. I think it's I had them a little bit lower. But it's hard for me to really argue putting them at 3 because I think, depending on how you rank it, like the Yankees have, to me, a much higher chance of winning the World Series than the Brewers do. So in that aspect, I feel like I should probably put the Yankees higher, but I base it on how they're playing right now.
I feel like the Yankees are playing like really good teams, like how they should play, like winning series. They're not winning like cheap. The victories don't feel cheap. They feel like all earned. They feel like legit. And like Hub said, some of these guys are hurt and they're still winning. Yankees look very good right now. I have no problem. I have them at 5, but 3, whatever. Like
a guy who has really helped is Johnny Brito, just coming out making 2 really, really good starts. His changeup is becoming one of the more electric pitches I watch on a daily basis. So look out for him. They needed a guy to kind of step up into their rotation. Clark Schmidt hasn't been that guy right now. Johnny Brito has, and he's got a great name. So Johnny Brito, keep out for him.
And then Volpe had that triple.
That's like his first like really big hit has been that, and He needed something to like kind of just excel a little bit. There's no pressure on him. He's going to come along. I like where he's at right now. He plays good defense. He runs. Johnny Brito.
I like the pick too. I mean, obviously, we know the Yankees do deserve to be in the top 5. Just it's a solid, like you're saying, the way they put that team together. The Volpe I want to call out for a second because I don't know if he looks like he's going to be an MVP. Looks like somebody's going to have like a 126 OPS plus for his career. Play 17 years, go to 14 All-Star games. His name is going to be lingering around baseball for like the next 2 decades. The face is great. Great face, great body. Everything about Volpe I love.
He's just a winner. He embodies winning. You just look at that guy, and he's just always going to be composed, and he's always just going to be a leader for the team, play good defense. What?
You sound like a G. Like this is the typical bullshit Yankee fan Jeter stuff.
Yeah, no,
he looks like a winner.
We have groomed.
Who the fuck looks like a winner? What are we talking? Did Reggie Jackson look like a winner? What does a winner look like? Draw a winner for me. What does it mean?
Anthony Volpe. You draw a winner. It's Anthony Volpe.
Guy's been in the major leagues for nine games.
He is gonna win. I promise you. More than the Mets.
Went to high school with Mark Leiter. Show some respect. High school kid with Mark Leiter. Who's up?
No pressure on him though. No pressure.
I believe that'd be me now. I'm gonna go with the number 2 spot, and we're gonna go with a team that I think early on, I'm starting to, for the first time in forever, maybe see a pathway to them being a team that can make a run in October. Again, it's early on. I'm going the Minnesota Twins because I think that when I look at the Twins right now, the way the Twins have kind of operated the last several seasons, they're consistently competitive. Yet in October, especially against the Yankees, they get there and get shut down. I think the big reason for that is by the time they've gotten to the postseason, their pitching staff has not held up the way that other teams do. And their best pitchers have a tendency to get rocked. Sonny Gray looked great, and that is a bizarre career arc that he's been kind of excellent for every team except the Yankees. It's strange how that's worked out. And up to this point, Pablo Lopez looks like a really solid addition in that rotation as well. If their pitching can continue to hold, they could become the favorite in the Central.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were going to miss out on like Rui Arez. I've been watching him a lot because I've now seen the Marlins play 5 times in person, so I've been seeing a ton of him. And he's still very good. He's batting over 400. He's still doing great. But the Twins haven't really missed a beat. And like I said, getting a guy like Pablo Lopez may have solidified that rotation and it helped out more than our eyes can help them on the offensive side. So Twins look really good. I had them in my top 5 too, so I have no problem with them here.
No issue with me. Sonny Gray, that start against the Astros was phenomenal. Like genuinely phenomenal. We're doing this thing where we pick our best pitcher. He's my best pitcher of the week. He was great. Their whole rotation has been good. I mean, Male was great. Lopez, like you said, Joe Ryan pitched well the other day. Yeah, for sure. Those 4, like that, it feels like the first time they have a respectable rotation to me. Can I give them too much respect? No, because I know when I see them in October, they will lose to the Yankees, no question about it. Something that's so pivotal for them, as always, Byron Buxton's got to play baseball games. Like when he's on the field, they are just so much better, obviously, than when he's off. He just doesn't play a ton. So far, he is. Stay on the field, Byron, and I like the Twins.
Byron Buxton, a full season of Byron Buxton, he's one of maybe like 3 players in the league with 10 WAR potential. Like I think in those last 162 games, I think he's got like a WAR around 9. And so far this season, knock on wood, he's stayed healthy and he's been an on-base machine.
I'll be the first person to say I think this feels a little too high for the Twins at 2. I probably would. I mean, it just feels a little too high. But at the same time, I think people from Minnesota are going to celebrate like year 2. They'll enjoy this. Like our Twins fans like it. It's early in the season. There's time for them.
Let's give them this. Yeah. Let's give them this a little. Let's give them something. So they deserve.
You're so charitable, Hubs. What a kind man you are.
Yeah. Only to rip their soul out in October.
Back to the top, Klemmer.
Like winners. So this would be my number 2, but it's gone. That's fine. And I hate doing this. This is the last team I want to pick at 5 here, I guess, because that's the highest one I can pick them is the Braves. Braves look really good. Spencer Strider hasn't missed a step. Like he's still throwing great. I mean, as a Mets fan, I hate to say this, but I don't know if I was hoping losing Dansby Swanson was going to make a bigger difference. It hasn't. They're still really good. They still don't have a shortstop, but I don't think it really matters. They're 7-3, 6-3, and they're just beating the shit out of teams. I'm terrified of the Braves just as much as I was last year.
That lineup is sensational. I mean, there's not a single easy out in that lineup, and what's really got people scared is Acuna is now looking like 2019 Acuna again. I mean, by his standards, he had a pretty down year last year.
He did.
And it's a scary lineup. I mean, it's hard to. I feel like we overlook them sometimes. I mean, they've had a stranglehold in that division for half a decade now. I mean, this is it's theirs until somebody knocks them off.
Yeah, Olsen's been on fire too.
Yeah.
The one thing that I just like, and I had them at 5 as well in my list. I don't love the starting rotation. It's just nothing that like truly scares me too much. But outside of Strider, Morton, how many years can we just do this? Schuster has not looked great. The start, but obviously it's his first few starts here. Fried goes down with the injury.
Yeah.
I just don't love the rotation. They probably need to add to that. That will add, like maybe they're in the Corbin Burns market. If the Brewers are like this, why would they sell? But they need to add to the rotation. In my opinion, that lineup is a gauntlet though, and I have them firmly at 5.
Not a lot of arguments here. I could have thrown them higher into this if I was making my own power. I like them a little bit higher than 5 just because I know who they are, but it's just solid. They're just so good, and I don't think there's a way to appropriately appreciate the Braves unless they win more World Series championships. But if they keep this formula going, they'll be underrated. Like if they keep going to the playoffs with the way they sign guys, like they just don't get the credit they deserve on a national standpoint. I'll say on a national standpoint. All right, 6. I'm gonna throw the Padres in here at 6. And the thing is, if the Padres win tonight, we're gonna get roasted for the Padres being 6 on this power ranking list. And I don't care because I know who the Padres are. The Braves won the first game. I think the Padres won the next 2 in a 4-game series, so they play Sunday Night Baseball. Yep. It's the only game that has yet to be played as we record this. This is the only time in a weekly schedule where 4 guys can sit around and like actually chew on what's happened this week. And there's still a game out there, and that game can impact the way people perceive these power rankings tomorrow morning. Hopefully that happens. Hopefully there's chaos. Hopefully the Padres win big tonight, and people are mad at us that we have them 6 here, but we have them 6 right now because we have them 6. You cannot lose an opening day weekend series to the Rockies and be inside the top 5. I'm sorry.
That's fair. I do appreciate what Xander Bogaerts is doing and just making it immediately hurt for Red Sox fans that he left because he looks phenomenal as a Padre. Their lineup is scary and they're getting Tatis back. The Padres, the Braves series has been fun to watch. 2 just really good teams going at it. I have no quarrels with them at 6.
I feel about the Padres kind of how you feel about the Braves. Hubs, because I like the Padres starting rotation. I don't love it.
No Musgrove right now. So
that's part of it. But even like I like Darvish quite a bit, but he's had his struggles late in seasons. Blake Snell, I just will never think will be better than 18. I mean, he still struggles with command. Kind of weird what's happened to him, to be honest. But it's a good rotation. Will it be deep enough to carry him late into the season? We'll find out.
Lugo looked really good for them, by the way.
One thing to watch for is they're playing this game in Atlanta. It's obviously a night game. And they are flying to New York to play the Mets for the next 3 games. The matchup, when people hear this on Monday, is going to be Darvish versus Scherzer. So that could be interesting. Something to look for. I don't know if the travel will hurt them. And they're not going to play Musgrove in this Mets series. He's going to come back against the series after that. Right. So just a couple of things maybe to look for. But, they got Seth Lugo on the mound tonight. He looked really good his first start. I have no problems at all with the Padres 6. They're super talented. I expect them to be this top 9, obviously.
Let's get some easy outs on 7, 8 here. Hubs, you got 7.
7, I'm going with the Guardians. Just a really solid team, a pesky team that you do not want to play in October, and they're just running it back. Andres Gimenez is great. You know what I do like out of their pitching so far? Actually, sorry, what I'm scared about is their pitching because it's Bieber and Savali, and I just don't know about the other guys. But the lineup is just pesky. You don't want to play them. Their bullpen is really lethal. Although I didn't know Emmanuel Clase could give up runs. I did see that against Oakland. That was a bizarre occurrence. I did not know that was allowed. I don't expect that moving forward. I like the Guardians at 7.
Yeah, it's eerie how similar they look from last season. I mean, it's the same, and credit to them. That's a baseball team that has an identity. I think that the issues that plagued them last year, which were really lack of power in the lineup, will plague them again this season. But like you said, I mean that they're a pesky team. They put the ball in play, and nobody develops starting pitching better than they do.
Imagine how good they would be if they had ownership support.
I know.
I was going to say, well, how many teams can say that?
Yeah.
No one. I don't know if anyone has more of a right to bitch than Rays fans.
Yeah, they're one of the only ones that continually
fans,
wins.
I mean, Guardians fans too. Those teams are it's a malpractice. Those owners should be ashamed of themselves. Stu Sternberg and the Dolan should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah,
for a while it was the Mariners. Now they started to get in the mix.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, Larry Dolan, I believe, is like the 4th or 5th richest guy in baseball. Castellani, take us home here at 8, and then we're going to round table to 9.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with a team that I would put good money on will not be here for the rest of the season. But it's a nice story to start things off. They got some devastating news today. I'm going to make them feel a little bit better. Put them in the top 9. I got the Pirates at number 8. It's just, so far, good vibes to this team. They have some legitimately solid major league hitters. It is, by Pirate standards, a much better team than they've had in a minute. But O'Neal Cruz now broken an ankle. Going to be out for a long time. That's going to take a lot of air out of the balloon. But, I don't know. That was a feel-good story to me this week. Andrew McCutchen coming back, homering at PNC again. So, some good vibes. I don't think it'll last long, but credit to them. They played some good baseball out the gate.
Yeah, the Pirates stink. They're not good.
Yes.
But you know what? They're 6-3. This is what is April 9th? And right now, you got to have them in the top 9. They deserve to be there. Now, will they be there in 2 weeks? No. They're terrible. They're going to lose 95 games this year. They suck. Now, O'Neal Cruz is gone. They might lose 100. But you know what? They should be there.
It's funny how that works. I remember a few years ago, the Tigers started 8-4, and their pitching was just locked down. For some reason, Matt Moore and Tyson Ross were tossing good innings. And that team went on to lose 114 games. And it's that was their window. Even the worst teams have that window of good baseball. I think the Pirates are starting their season.
Yeah, I got mad at I got mad at the Pirates because they had a sellout for McCutchen when they did the nice 4K camera walk-up thing, and they pan around. And it's hard to look at PNC loaded during the day. 40,000, 37,000, however many it is. It's just such a gorgeous sight. And as soon as you see it, you think to yourself, it sucks the Nutting family doesn't want this every single day and they're not willing to spend the money. And that's right up there with Cleveland, the Pirates ownership, which is how big, because it's a special city. I'm sorry, Hubs.
No, you're good. I don't know if a hitter in baseball is off to a better start than Brian Reynolds, especially good job by him not signing the bottom line in that contract extension that they keep offering to him because the price just went up that it did the other day. I do appreciate the Pirates for playing. If this is the last week that they are in this ranking system here, I do appreciate them playing some of their best ball against the Boston Red Sox. So tip my cap to the Pittsburgh Pirates and Brian Reynolds. I'm sorry about O'Neal Cruz. He's a marvel to watch. Hopefully it's not a season-ending surgery. Maybe it's 2 months or whatever. I don't know what the prognosis is there. It's not good, but I do appreciate the Pirates for a little bit here.
All right, let's figure out this 9th team here. And kind of what I had suggested is just on basis of 4 of us, 2 teams a guy. The last team, we can all make some suggestions if we'd like. And there's a lot of teams that can fill into the 9 spot, so... does anybody have anything they feel very passionate about? There's a couple 5 and 4s lingering around. Hubs, I see the finger.
Yeah.
I got one. And it's similar to the Pirates. I don't know how much they're going to be here. I'm giving some nod to the Arizona Diamondbacks here.
That was mine as well.
I mean, come on. They've had the unfortunate pleasure of having to face... Now, granted, the Dodgers are not probably playing their best baseball at the very moment, but they played the Dodgers a ton here to start, and they have held their own. They're currently, as we're recording this, absolutely pummeling them. And about to take a series. They split a series earlier. Diamondbacks deserve to be in this top 9.
Yeah, that was my pick as well, Hubs, and I'm with you. I think they'll start to trend downward at some point, but they're not like the Pirates. They can be competitive all year. They have very quickly kind of built a pretty good nucleus there. They have, I believe, Brett Strom is still there, best pitching coach in baseball. There's some pieces that are really intriguing. Corbin Carroll's coming along, and they've played pretty solid so far this season, especially against LA.
Another quick thing, though, before you go, Klemmer, they have no one that's going off right now for them. If you look at their numbers across the board, Gallen hasn't looked like himself normally. They're hitting, no one's jumping off no one's pulling a Brian Reynolds on this team. It's kind of just all working together and being weird and winning games.
I think you can make a case for the Blue Jays. They just came back to basically almost. We're still playing, but the Blue Jays have just come back against the Orioles big time. They're going to probably be 6-4. You can make a case the Rangers, even the Red Sox have had a soft schedule. They are 5-4, but I got to agree with you guys. Let's go to the Diamondbacks here. I don't think they're going to be here the whole time either, but they are beating the Dodgers. They're playing some tough teams. The Red Sox have had a soft schedule where Diamondbacks have been pretty tough and they're holding their own. So I like the D-backs here right now.
And I think maybe it's about time we start talking about the Diamondbacks early, first couple of weeks of the season, and start digging in the data because they don't have to do any traveling for spring training. They're all living in the same town. So there could be a little early season advantage there that just dawned on me. I really like that Hub stepped up here, passionate about the Diamondbacks, and then find out that Castellani has them there too. That's kind of what we want with this 9 spot is like, who really feels something here? In this case, it's the Diamondbacks this week. Now, on the odd man out here, I thought, Klemmer, quick reaction, no Mets here.
No, they don't deserve to be. They're 5-5. I mean, like I said, the Blue Jays, they're going to be 6-4. Diamondbacks going to be 6-4. They were playing better. The Mets, yeah, they beaten the shit out of the Marlins, but they got swept by the Brewers. The Mets don't deserve to be here right now. Hopefully next week I can sing a different tune or whatever. But
yeah,
right
and
now,
I saw the Rangers play at Wrigley Field this Friday. They're very interesting because they're such a big-bodied infield. They're such a strong team. They're coming together a little bit in the outfield, and the pitching's a little all over the place. But they've played well, and they've got so much superstar talent. And at the Angels, we didn't even talk about Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. We're 26 minutes into this. This is the way. This is the bane of my existence as a baseball fan. Is the two most exciting and electrifying guys are on a team that will never ever be in this type of conversation. I shouldn't say it like that, but it's going to be a long way.
Yeah, I don't know. They're 5-4.
They've looked okay. They've looked okay.
They're okay. If they lose today, they're 5-4. So I mean, it's not great. It's not the end of the world. I'm not going to write off the Angels just yet.
Yeah, they've looked fine. Sandoval and Shohei have delivered 4 really good starts in my opinion. Their offenses. They're just a fun team. If you're not doing anything and you're just home and you got MLB TV, throw on the Angels. And you're probably going to be entertained here. Even if Shohei's not pitching, they're going to hit. They're probably going to give up some runs here. I don't know. They're a good MLB TV team, I guess.
The next thing is the Angels. The next series is against the Nationals. So the schedule does loosen up a little bit for them. And then their next series after that is, it's someone easy. I know it is. I'm taking way too long to do this. The Red Sox. So maybe they might get some wins. We might be talking about the Angels next week.
Interesting thing with the Blue Jays, you did bring them up, Klemmer. They haven't played a home game yet. They've just been all on the road. Their pitching is as bad as I thought it would be. Kikuchi and Barrios just are.
Dude, what is happening to Jose Barrios?
Spider tack.
Was he a spider tack? He has.
Yeah, and then he's not as talented as Garrett Cole, and he couldn't figure it out afterwards. And that's why Garrett Cole's back, and he's great. But the Blue Jays just don't. I hate their bottom of the rotation. It's just not good. And if Alek Manoah, I'm not going to bring him up again, but that first start wasn't so.
Second one was good. Second one was really good.
Against the Royals. Klemmer, I trust you to pitch against the Royals at this point. So, but yeah, the Blue Jays were almost there for 9-8. Their offense is scary, but the Diamondbacks feel right today.
They're knocking on the door. And to recap, that's 1 Rays, 2 Twins, 3 Yankees, 4 Braves, 4 Brewers, 5 Braves, 6 Padres, 7 Guardians, 8 Pirates, 9 Diamondbacks. With a couple heavy hitters just on the outside looking on the end. Guys, thank you very much for doing this. We'll have graphics out, I'm sure, blogs and conversations on social media and stuff, but we wanted to organize one kind of coherent conversation, get it out there on Monday, and we're going to get a crew together next Sunday and chop it up again. This is the Power Rankings panel. It's an honor, guys. I take this stuff very seriously because I know how passionate baseball fans are. Thank you very much for joining me, Klemmer Castellani Hubs.
Thank you. Don't forget to look like a winner.
You don't.